Pack your bathing suit because we're heading to Cuba. Or, rather, Carl and Donut are in The Eye of the Bedlam Bride, the sixth book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series by Matt Dinnamin. And guys, let me tell you, this book, it might just be the best in the series. It's right up there with the first book, which I really enjoyed. I started the series a couple of months ago, and usually it takes me a while to finish a series, but I've just been flying through these books, partly because they're so good and partly because they're a very easy read. The Eye of the Bedlam Bride isn't a perfect book, but it's an incredibly fun and thrilling adventure. So let's dive into what makes this one such a standout. And if this is your first time here, welcome to Mysterious Galaxies, where I review and discuss science fiction, fantasy, and horror novels. If you're new to the Dungeon Crawler Carl universe, here's the quick elevator pitch. Our main character, Carl, he wakes up one night to find every building sucked into the earth, killing everyone inside. Those who were outside, they get a message from an alien overlord informing them that they're now contestants in a galactic game show. Trillions of beings across the galaxy are being watched, and Carl has to battle his way down through various dungeons and hellscapes, each level filled with monsters and dangers, in an attempt to reach the end, a feat no one has ever achieved before. Each book in the series takes place on a different floor of the game, with each level bringing its own theme, rules, and unique challenges. By the time we get to The Eye of the Bedlam Bride, the sixth book, the stakes feel higher than ever, and the format takes an interesting twist with a card building focus. This new floor is all about collecting and using a deck of cards that carry unique abilities. Think Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, or even Yu-Gi-Oh! There are nods to each of these card games in the way the mechanics work, making it especially fun for anyone who's a fan of that genre. Carl's task isn't just about brute strength this time. He has to collect and strategize with these cards to survive. Each one carries specific powers, so in many ways, it's like he's building a personal arsenal as he goes, with each card serving as a potential game changer. To make it even more intense, the survivors are now spread out across continents, which means Carl and most of the other players are isolated or in very small, vulnerable groups. This adds an extra layer of tension as the game is pushing players towards self-reliance and new alliances. What makes this book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series as a whole so enjoyable is that it's unapologetically absurd and over the top, yet somehow still manages to carry emotional weight and humor in every chapter. Matt Dinnamin has found a way to keep things chaotic and unpredictable while giving us characters we genuinely care about. Carl and Princess Donut's wild adventures continue to be a roller coaster of laughs, shock, and tension, with plenty of jaw-dropping moments that just work. One of the standouts in The Eye of the Bedlam Bride is the sheer scale of its climactic moments. Each book usually builds to a single big event, but here we get multiple epic set pieces scattered throughout, almost as if each third of the book has its own finale. These high-stakes scenes would be impressive as standalone conclusions, but Dinnamin crams multiple of them into a single story, making it feel truly grand and unpredictable. This book isn't holding anything back, and that constant barrage of action and twists keeps you on the edge of your seat, wondering what could possibly come next. One of the issues I had with previous entries in the series is the repetition. With each level being different, some of the action along the way followed the same setups we've seen previously. It was a formula that had some predictability, but here the familiar structure helps ground the chaos. The formula provides just enough structure to let the crazy, wildly imaginative scenarios take flight without losing readers in a maze of random ideas. The only actual problem I had with The Eye of the Bedlam Bride was the card system, or rather the amount of cards that are thrown at us over the course of the book. Every card Carl and Donut collects is unique, which is part of the fun in collecting them, but their abilities were unique too, and it's hard to remember what cards did what. Or, in some cases I actually forgot they collected specific cards because they were not used as much. With that said, this is a minor gripe and doesn't really detract from the story too much. All in all, Book 6 delivers on the fun, and that's honestly why I stick with the series. I do wish the humor was a little less crude and juvenile at times, but it does fit with the absurdity of the story. The banter, the over-the-top antics, and the sheer unpredictability make The Eye of the Bedlam Bride a fun journey from start to finish. The series might not aim to be high art, but Dinnamin's ability to balance dark themes with humor and heart is what keeps it feeling fresh and exciting. If you made it this far in the series, you know that Dungeon Crawler Carl is more than just a silly title. It's an unexpected blend of humor, darkness, and high stakes adventure that runs deeper than you think. At first glance, the concept might seem wild or even absurd, but that's precisely what makes it stand out. If you're willing to turn off your serious critique part of your brain and just immerse yourself in an over the top chaotic world where anything is possible, this series is a goldmine of entertainment. Dinnamin's storytelling strikes a unique balance. At times, it's laugh out loud funny, yet manages to delve into genuine, sometimes brutal emotional, just commentary. The stakes are real, the characters grow, and you'll find yourself unexpectedly invested in their survival and triumphs. As for why you should read The Eye of the Bedlam Bride specifically, the most obvious answer is that it's book 6 in a 10-book series. We get a lot more insight into Carl's backstory, his family, and what shaped him into the man he is when we find him in book 1. I really loved gleaming into his life pre-Dungeon Crawl because it felt like it helped me understand his character a bit better. Meanwhile, we learn more about the aliens running the crawl, what's happening with some of the most interesting sponsors, and how the ninth floor is shaping up. Overall, this book adds more of what I was most interested in, chiefly the rebellion plotline and how Carl plans on taking the fight to the aliens. The Eye of the Bedlam Bride has a little of something for every fan of the series, and it turned out to be maybe my second favorite book in the series, behind only the original. So that's it for The Eye of the Bedlam Bride. This book encapsulates everything that makes Dungeon Crawler Carl series special: the outrageous humor, the high-stakes action, deepening character arcs, and the kind of immersive, world-spanning adventure that pulls you in and refuses to let go. It's a series that knows exactly what it is and isn't really afraid to embrace its over-the-top premise with gusto. Matt Dinnamin manages to blend absurdity with genuine emotion and dark, gripping moments in a way that are rare in fantasy, let alone lit RPG. So if you've been on the fence about picking up the series, let this be your sign. You'll laugh, you'll gasp, and you'll keep turning the pages hungry for more. But that's it for today, guys. What did you think about The Eye of the Bedlam Bride? Did you like the card battles? What's been your favorite book so far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for sticking with me through this review, and as always, happy reading.